Welcome to Startup Health TV, where we celebrate the entrepreneurs and innovators who are transforming health. I'm Logan Plaster. My guest this morning is Yusuf Henriques, the CEO of IndyGeneUS. So, Yusuf, thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're one of the newer companies to join Startup Health, and so we're still getting to know what IndyGeneUS is, so we can learn along with the audience. So, tell us what you've built.
Yes, IndyGeneUS AI is a genomics company that's looking to increase diversity in clinical trial. It's over the last 50 years, it's been 95% European white males in the trials, and we started seeing that impact coming out of COVID, where we saw 3 times the death rate in African American and minority populations versus white individuals in this country.
Unpack that 95% number for us, because a lot of people aren't in genomics,
Right.
and they don't appreciate at all what you just said. So kind of help us understand that.
So yeah, think about it as, every medication that's in your cabinet has been tested on 95% of the trial participants have been European white males. That means very little women, very little minorities from every background: Caucasian, Asian, African Americans, Hispanic, women across all ethnic backgrounds. So that 5% is all the genetic diversity that's currently being used to approve drugs that's being shipped globally.
And that's a major problem.
Big problem. Big problem, because now we're starting to move into personalized medicine and precision medicine. So how can you say that we're doing precision medicine for the individual? Well, I'm not European white male. So
I was talking to a founder just the other day who was doing genomics work in Latin America and discovered that a community in Peru metabolized this cancer drug completely differently from a European white male.
Absolutely, and we're starting to see that, and part of that is science is evolving, right? So it's not like it's been something that's been known from the pharmacogenomics standpoint. Next gen sequencing is also technology, and AI has also helped bring the field, because the human genome has only been sequenced in like last 20 years. But we're still learning, and the technology is now helping us identify that there are some differences in different cultures and different ethnic background. African Americans don't process metabolize pain medication well. So think about that.
Yeah, interesting. So where are you at in terms of the product evolution?
So we launched, so this got spun out of an MIT hackathon, Hacking Racism in Healthcare. So right after George Floyd, the pandemic, May 2020, I get a call from MIT, says, Yusuf, we're well renowned in hacking medicine, as you know, MIT hacking medicine. They said, we want to be intentional, we want to hack racism in healthcare. So that's a tall order, because there's multiple levels. And so we picked 7 of the high-profile areas, including African-American women not being taken serious in pain. You heard that when Serena Williams talked about. That's a real thing. I mean, so I had quite a few women, prominent women, talk to April Ryan from CNN, Maya Rockamore, the late congressman's wife, talk about not getting the same level of empathy when they go into the doctor. And so lack of diversity in clinical trial was one of the verticals that I co-led, and started seeing that this was such a big problem, not just in the US, but globally. I had to go ahead and spin IndyGeneUS out.
Okay, and so you've been building the team. Kind of what have been your big milestones?
We've made tremendous traction, and maybe because I'm a 2-time founder, so the second one seemed a little easier. But I was able to galvanize a lot of individuals at that hackathon, and they became my champion into getting the first milestone we met was we were given a $175K from Johnson & Johnson. So we're a Johnson & Johnson J-Labs company in Washington, D.C., and our lab is in D.C.
Okay, your lab's in D.C.
Yes.
Is that location important to you, kind of where you're locating your labs?
Strategically important. The slogan that we're using, we're building labs in the hood, like McDonald's.
Okay.
And so D.C. was a key component, just given the dense population of African American, and also historic, because I was also a combat medic on that old Walter Reed base that's now been converted into the J-Labs and Children's National Genomic Research Center.
Break it down for us on a human level, why it's important to co-locate these genomics labs where people live who have been systemically held out of this conversation.
So look, if you look at the demographics, right, there's this idea that we can't recruit these patients. Well, if we peel the layers back, we know why. the centers where you do these clinical trials are in predominantly PWI, predominantly white institutions, Harvard, Yale, Johns Hopkins. And so you could throw $1 billion at it like All of Us program did, UK Biobank. I mean, these are all government entities that are still struggling because the repository that they've grown over the last 10, 12 years is still 85, 90% white.
Yeah.
And
so if you're not in the right community.
not in the right community, you're not going to get the result. And so I just looked at it as a systemic failure. So we have to build a new system because the old system is not going to produce the yield that we need. And so we got to go into these communities where those populations are, where women are getting their treatment and where minorities are going to get their primary care.
Okay. So what's your vision for this? 5 years out, folks are coming into these clinics in their neighborhoods and getting their genome sequenced?
Yes, absolutely. So there's two initiatives going on. One, we have to create a new repository. We can't keep AI machine learning is not going to fix the delta on a 95% European-wide repository. So we got to get at least about 500,000 to 1 million non-white European males. It doesn't have to be just African Americans. I mean, the bar is quite low.
Yeah.
We just need
to improve the data bank.
Improve the data bank first, and then two, then being able to look at these different markers so that we could then drive better drug discovery using AI and machine learning. So our goal is to do 500,000 to 1 million repository of non-white European males over the next 5 to 10 years, and then start helping driving drug discovery, because the mandate for more diversity is coming down from the FDA.
Yeah.
In about 2 years, once the legislature, it's in the omnibus bill now, and in about 2 years there will be some regular. Right now it's just guidance, but since I used to work at FDA, I know the process. In about 2 years, it's going to be mandated for at least 25% diversity in all drug discovery.
Okay. Now the long-term benefits of this are clear in terms of a better personalized medicine, drug discovery.
Yes.
What are some of the near-term benefits for the community if they're like, I don't want to wait 10 years to see the benefits of this clinic in my neighborhood?
So what you just mentioned, pharmacogenomics, low-hanging fruit. Right now, you and I could get prescribed the same medication profiles, let's say antipsychotic. If there's 5 medications on the for sale, we could differentiate and metabolize those 5 different. And so we could immediately do a traffic light test right now where we could say, Logan, pill A and B are good for you based on your genetic profile. Yusuf, C and D is better for you based on your genetic profile. So that's the immediate impact, and that takes you off a medication that you're not metabolizing and not causing no efficacy.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, and then on the nutrigenomics, we can start now telling you, based on your predisposition to certain things, if we sequence your genome, we can start telling you dietary nutrition things that you could do way ahead before you even develop some of these conditions. So talking to KP yesterday, we had a good conversation because, as you know, with his condition, he was able to diagnose at 42 with no symptoms, which normally those tests you don't even do until you're 50, 55. Yeah. And so KP is literally alive because he had that screening done and they saw that high PSA count, and he was able to get a mild aggressive prostate cancer that he had treated, and now he's almost in a year of being prostate cancer free. So this is what this technology could do right away, immediately, and that's why I've been in love with it since I saw it 10 years ago.
What are you most excited about for the next 12 months for the company?
Man, I'm excited the fact that we came out, we got into StartUpHealth. We're going to have you guys to kind of be that battery in our back to help get this message out, because the messaging, our community still needs a lot of health literacy. It's tough, especially with a lot of the exploitations from Henrietta Lacks and the syphilis trial. So our community is already hesitant to medical history already, and now we're introducing an emerging technology. So the help of StartUpHealth, we're going to be able to amplify that message and try to get more minority communities engaged with the conversation so that we could get them sequenced.
What I hear you saying is that there's innovation in the sequencing, but really the innovative business model here is reaching a community in a new way, in a thorough way.
Yes, we have to. We can no longer have them on the sideline. Black, Hispanic community have to get in the game because there is no innovation if you don't have new variants.
Exactly.
You're just going to be doing AI and machine learning on the same 95% European white male. It's not going to lead.
Yeah.
We know what that profile looks like now. We need help with getting other profiles so that we can look at drug discovery a lot different than what we're doing now.
Love it. Yusuf, thanks for taking the time with me. Love what you're building. It's going to be an exciting ride next year or two.
Appreciate it. I'm glad. I'm excited about it. Thank you.
All right. Take care.